It's Friday. It means high five conversation with some fabulous people around the last 5 days of learning. I've just realised I'm looking like a vicar this morning with this t-shirt on. So Reverend Scott
I've
Leaper
got
here. Praising to the masses. We've got a wonderful guest on today who the magical Gavin Oates delivered a virtual ice cream suggestion to him to come on and talk. So Andy, good morning. Andy Cope, lovely to have you.
Morning, guys. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Can I just hold my hands up and admit I have failed on the ice cream challenge so far. So, in case nobody heard Gav's one last week, he challenged me to deliver ice creams to my team. Right, that's 23 people around the UK. I'm trying, but it's quite hard to deliver ice creams. All right,
I
there is
thought you
no
would own an ice cream van. I was convinced that you have an ice cream van parked outside just.
delivery service. I will do it. I will do it. When we get the team together, I will get the ice cream van in and feed them all together from the ice cream van. So I've not done it. It's just in the future. Okay.
This was the card here. Rory, just very briefly, what was it Gavin did last week in order to involve Andy in this little challenge?
Yeah, so briefly, we obviously are doing the High Five of Five each week. Gavin was nominated with the mobile library card. So the challenge on this card was for Gavin to recommend his favorite self-development books. So we talked about Tuesdays with Maury, but more importantly, we talked about your book, Andy. And Gavin told us a story about leaving a copy on a bench in Edinburgh and about a seagull flying off with it. So we know we've got very, very happy, positive seagulls all around the Scottish coastline. And then we passed along the ice cream social. So that will be great, even if when you eventually do get the team back together, even if you just send us a photograph, we'll get that posted for you guys of your ice creams.
Cool. Promise. Pinky promise.
Magical. So have you got any thoughts in mind about how you're going to do that, Andy, about how you're going to get ice cream across the country, given it's during times that's quite tricky and difficult to enable you to do?
I will be getting the team together in one place as soon as that's 23 people are allowed, and the ice cream van will come to us. All right. So that's how I'm going to do it. But it will be an actual ice cream van.
Right. So in terms of what you've done in the last 5 days, because obviously we've jumped on to have a chat this morning, we didn't get managed to enable the ice cream. But obviously that act of giving ice cream is something that's really in your area of specialism around making people smile. What's happened to you in the last 5 days that you think's made people smile, if I could ask you that?
We've made people smile. Well, I've not really been out of the house, mate. It's hard to get out of the house at the moment. Doing a lot of Zooms. I've been... I guess the good thing about this new normal that we keep talking about is that I get to do Zooms all around the world now. So yesterday before breakfast, I'd already been to Singapore. So before I had my porridge, I'd been to Singapore. I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? And we did a session with the kids over there in Singapore, and I introduced to them the Chicken of Doom, which is just my favorite character. And it's now a global phenomenon. So that made me smile. Whether it made them smile, I don't know. But it certainly made me smile. And actually, really interesting is because I thought they were a bit ahead of the curve there. Every single child in that class has got the masks on. So this is a serious global thing. It's not just because I never know if it's just the UK or we just panicking about it. But everybody, it is a global thing. It genuinely is. So yeah. And actually, I'm really pleased to be on this call because I'm trying to write a book at the moment, and I'm just researching quantum physics, guys.
Right.
Quantum physics.
Wow, for Friday.
So this is to have something playful in my day, which is this 5 minutes. Is
it's amazing the gifts of something simplistic is that to actually bring some sunshine, such as a character or an animal or something you've created just to make other people smile and engage them in some positive momentum. We when Rory and I were doing a last Cognitize Connect session, so we do these once a month to bring people together to tell stories around the cards and things. And at the end of the session, it was at the tail end of the summer, which seems like a lifetime ago now, we instructed everyone right at the very end that whoever was in their household that afternoon had to go to the shops and buy everyone an ice cream. If they were in a workplace, they had to go and buy everyone ice cream. And the amount of messages that we got via Instagram, Twitter, with pictures of ice creams and ice lollies that people had bought and just went and done just through that one little simple gesture. I like to think that when people got that little surprise, there was a beaming smile on their face because they got something.
Exactly, you're bang on there, mate. I mean, I've got a PhD in happiness, believe it or not, from Loughborough Uni. So 15 years of researching positive psychology, so researching happiness. But you don't need a PhD in anything to understand one of the quickest ways to make yourself feel good is to do a good deed for somebody else. So not only does that make you feel good, having done it, it makes them feel good as well. So I describe it's kind of your gift to the world. So kindness, I describe kindness as a sort of superpower. Really, you are a superhero if you put your kindness pants on and do good deeds for other people.
We just finished the Kindness Festival last week, and virtual festival, which was such fun. And another brilliant lady called Joa Savannah. We spent 5 weeks from an idea to a solution, and we had 100 people, raised £2,500 for charity through just the acts of kindness of bringing people together all into one space. It was magical. It was absolutely brilliant.
When we were unlocked, guys, right? Because I got involved in a couple of projects. We run big school projects, and we try and get kids involved in teaching them strategies about well-being and mental health, actually. So getting it embedded in the kids early on. So things you could learn. So when the world does the worst, which it's doing right now, that we bend but we don't break. So, and one of those, and part of those, so we get the schools in. So we did Brilliant Bristol, right? That was the first one. And we set a world record for the most random acts of kindness in a city in a day. It's about 17,000. So all these kind of kids came into this town centre in Bristol on this one day, and were giving out sweets and flowers and chocolates and hugs. And it was so beautiful. So we set the world record, right? And then I'm from Derby, so my hometown got wind of it and said, right, we're going to break that record. So Derby, 3 years ago, we did 21,000 kinds of random acts of kindness in the city on that day. So it was newsworthy. So maybe you guys, if I was playing a card to you, is you got to get a city mobilised and trying to beat 21,000 random acts of kindness in a city in a day. There's your challenge from me to you.
It's on. It's in the diary. I'm not far from Glasgow, so I think between us we could probably eliminate 2 cities.
Perfect. And wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great, guys? That then Glasgow, somebody else says, right, we're going to beat Glasgow, and then Los Angeles joins in, and Cape Town joins in, and Lagos joins in, and we have this ripple of kindness around the world. Oh my gosh.
Well, I've got the very platform. I'm on Instagram Live on Monday talking to a brilliant gentleman I met yesterday who were focusing on Do Me a Favour Buddy is his platform, and we're going to look at how you can do a favour for others. So that is my challenge on Monday when I'm on that Insta Live, is bring that to life. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, good man. Can I say one other thing that's going through my head this morning? I'm trying to do this kind of quantum stuff, and I don't know if you know, the quantum physics and all that kind of stuff, is everybody who's ever written about reality not being real and all this weird stuff, is I always think that they're really clever people, and I'm not encumbered with the cleverness thing. So I'm like just a hard worker. I'm not that clever. So everybody else, all these other scientists, you know, the Higgs bosons and all that, are so clever that they can't explain things in the way that I can understand. Now, I think because I'm not very clever, then I'm starting from nothing, so I can dumb it up a little bit. And I've just got this lovely analogy. I was in Singapore, proper Singapore, about 2 years ago, doing some work out there. And at Changi Airport, there's a butterfly. I've got one at Heathrow. You know, it's just like you check in, you sit there bored, and then you leave. In Changi Airport in Singapore, they've got a butterfly farm. Thousands and thousands and thousands of butterflies. So you pay your money, and instead of sitting in this horrible, boring place, you can just go and just and there's a school. There was a school party in there, so there's about 20 local kids in there. Butterflies everywhere. These kids are about 5 years old. They're leaping around and chasing it and trying to catch these butterflies and exhausting themselves. And there was one kid, guys, and it's so beautiful. One kid stood perfectly still in the middle of the room, covered in butterflies, right? Absolutely covered from head to toe in butterflies. Everybody else is like chasing and not getting them at all. And this one kid, you almost couldn't see that it was a child because he was totally covered, standing there still. And I got me thinking about us, people, like chasing happiness and running after it and exhausting ourselves in this relentless pursuit of something, we're not sure what. And maybe, I think COVID, because I don't know when people are going to listen to this, but we're recording this like in lockdown, and which we're getting more lockdown, we're not released from it, it's getting tighter, is that what I think it has done is, for some of us, is we've stopped. We've forced us to stop and catch up with ourselves. And happiness, if you just allow yourself to be still, then happiness might just show up. I'm thinking there's something in there, isn't there? Something in that about butterflies and happiness, and that up one day, and that'll be a chapter.
I love that.
Well, Rory was talking yesterday and we were chatting. What was the book you referred to me yesterday, Rory, about was it The Art of Slow?
In Praise of Slow.
Praise of Slow, sorry, I couldn't remember the title of it.
So it was a book that it probably was 15, 16 years ago now, but it really was ahead of the curve of the Scandinavian world of slowing things down, and I think that's where lockdown really has come into it. And as we mentioned at the start, obviously the games that I represent at Red Knight, going back to that point, Andy, of just finding happiness in those moments, that's kind of the challenge I set myself with the kids, where we can't go into schools and be with them now, but we can get the games to at home with parents, or we can get them playing online, and just finding happiness in that random act of laughing together. That's been wonderful to see when people shared images with us and videos.
But the serious point, mate, and you're absolutely in the right space there, is when kids are peeing, when they're feeling great, then they learn more. They will look, the brain will switch on. It's called broaden and build. When you're feeling amazing, your brain literally switches on and you can see opportunities, you can see solutions. And when you're not feeling great, your brain switches off and you just see the problem and you focus, you can't see a way forward and you get stuck in the same old loop. So getting kids to feel amazing isn't just about getting them to feel amazing, it's about getting them in learning mode, right? And I don't want kids coming alive at 3:30 on a Friday when they leave school. If you can get them feeling amazing at 8:30 on a Monday, then it'll be epic learning.
Absolutely.
I think there's so many opportunities there, Andy, and I know that in our household, my oldest son, who's 13, is working his way through Diary of a Brilliant Kid at the moment, actually through returning to school as well, to give him a good chance to really rethink the way he does things, because he's a bit like me in school. He's not a particularly big lover of school and doesn't know where he fits in at the moment to stuff, and small things like those gestures and the conversations and trying to find a space where he can be surrounded by his own butterflies and enjoy the experience of it, rather than just seeing it as a stress and a challenge every day. I think it's so important to have those chats with your kids and amplify those stories to kids, to make sure that there is a space for them to be who they want to be as creative as they want to be, or be as technical as they want to be, whatever their area of focus is to fall in love with something that they enjoy and get the best out of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's beautifully said. But then we put them through a school system that, obviously I love schools and I love teachers, that often knocks the love of life out of them. And so my son is a classic example, right? He's 21 and there's no jobs. He's just graduated. There's nothing. So he's got to do a master's to fill a year. And he's day one yesterday. I won't say which uni. And he's really looking forward to his master's degree. And they sit him through 3 hours of Zooms on diversity training and plagiarism. And this morning, his enthusiasm for uni, he's not even started yet, like lectures. And he's just like, he was so excited. And it's like,
you can imagine. Freshers with dad.
Gosh. I think I've shared this story with Scott before, that academic-wise at school, I very much went through the conveyor belt method, and it just didn't engage me or inspire me at all. And last night I caught the tail end of a Steven Spielberg documentary, which ended up being what my PhD research was in. But I was sitting with my youngest son, and actually he was asking questions about, how did you end up doing work on Steven Spielberg academic-wise? And I said, I don't know, but it made me really happy. And that was, that just kind of thought, well, that's where you find your best education. And that's, for me, those kids now that are coming through, they live in such a different world. And we were talking about it yesterday, about the new technological advances that we can make, and we can bring fun and gaming and learning to them. But I think it's just about injecting happiness to them at every aspect of every day, And I know that sounds a little bit cliche, but actually there's ways of doing it, And if the teachers can get engaged in this new world that we live in, and they can inject random acts of kindness and happiness and just energy into the classrooms, a Tuesday morning can get a bit more exciting, a Wednesday morning, a Thursday morning.
Yeah, you guys make it sound so simple, but it isn't that simple, because if it was that simple, everybody would be alive on a Monday morning. And then I describe it in some of the books. I talk about Sixth Sense, the movie, which is a bit of a scary movie, a little boy in it, and Bruce Willis is in the movie, and he looks at Bruce Willis and says, I see dead people. And I'm like, on a Monday morning, I'm seeing them as well. You know what I mean? There's not much. I'm not seeing anybody skipping to work or dancing around the kitchen on a Monday in the pajamas. It doesn't happen, does it? But that happens on a Friday. So what we're doing is accidentally, it's called destination addiction. We're accidentally kicking our happiness into the long grass, chasing it over. I can see you over there on Friday, happiness. I'll come and get you on Friday. Yeah, and we're like, therefore, putting up with mediocrity from Monday to sort of Friday afternoon, really. And I think life's too short, guys. I mean, basically, life is too short. It's a short and precious gift. Back to Diary of a Brilliant Kid. Life is a short and precious gift. Don't send it back unwrapped. I think that's on the cover. Don't send it back unwrapped. Give it a damn good go.
Yeah. Couldn't agree further. It really is a great point. What we always do on High Five to wrap up is we normally nominate somebody else with a card. So you got a lovely ice cream message from me on Twitter by way of an introduction, Andy, a few weeks ago. After we'd spoken to Gavin, and this one we're going to do something a wee bit random. So I thought we'd do a random shuffle some cards, and we'll bring. Let's bring two to screen. I'll let you choose from the two cards, Andy. Rory will shuffle and I shuffle. Bring two cards up.
Okay.
You can choose one and who you want to nominate for that card. So we're ready to shuffle, Rory?
Yes.
Probably a better card shuffler than me, given all the games you play.
I feel like I should be one of these guys that can real quantitative them out and stuff, but I'm typical snap player.
I've shuffled already.
Right, I'm shuffled up. So
right, okay. Here's the card you selected.
Let's see, we'll select one random. Oh, this one's maybe a wee bit more serious, but actually, let's bring it up. So vulnerability counts.
Okay, I had Be a Rainbow.
Okay. I think I know which one that Andy will choose, but
so I've given this card to someone. Give this card to someone as a gesture of positivity. Share
a mistake you've made in your career and what you've learned from it with one of the team. Give them this card. So that's vulnerability counts.
Okay, and your engage card here is Be a Rainbow. I've given this card, award it to someone else as a gesture of positivity.
I'm going to go vulnerable. Can we go vulnerable?
Yay! That was my shuffling.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, it is quite deep, but I mean, we're into growth mindset. And while you're talking about, schools should be making kids happy and they should be coming alive on a Monday, I think... I don't think you've had Richard Gerver on here yet, and I think Rich will be up for it. He's an internationally renowned keynote speaker. He kind of hobnobs with Mr. Obama. He's at that level. So, and he's a good lad. He's a good talker, and I highly respect him for what he's achieved. And he's failed loads, which is brilliant. Which is why he's achieved so much. And I think he'd do you a real good talk if you started with vulnerability, and he could tell you loads of failures.
That sounds awesome. Wow. You can give a good noddle to Rory about his time he spent in Washington as well. So turn around, kind of a good conflab about that.
Oh, yes, that's it then. You're not needed next week, mate.
It's just the two of them. I'm on the bench. Andy, it's been magic to chat to you. Thanks very much for taking the time. I'll give you a high five.
Andy, thank you.
Well done,
high five, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'll get back to my quantum physics. Thanks for that.